and ready to go. You guys are looking good. Excellent. Go live over here, go live over there, and we'll be all set-a-rooski. Okay. So let's zoom this guy in just a little touch. There we go. Perfection. God, I love it. Okay. You guys, it's Paint with Josh. Welcome. We're back in the studio again. Gonna do a nice little easy white canvas for you. And as you can see, we're in the middle of putting on our Bob Ross liquid white, right? So what I did was I put a big X across it with a good amount of paint on the brush. And then I'm gonna come over here and we're gonna take it, and we're gonna mix it up and spread it all over the canvas with a lot of force. It takes a fair amount of force to spread all this paint around, because you don't want it to be globby, that's for sure. You want it to be nice and spread evenly across the canvas. And we can do it right here in front of you and not take too long doing our whole video, right? So it only takes about a minute. You can get your canvas nice and wet and white. And it gets all sorts of craziness out there. Now, Josh, why are we making the canvas wet? What is the point of that? Well, the point of that is that we want to take our thick, wet oil paints and apply them to a nice, slick, wet surface, okay? That way, they'll slide, blend, and move very easily for us across the canvas. Very simply and easily done. We get a few little bits, a little bit of our white layer. Now, how do you check and make sure that you got just enough? Well, you can touch it in all places, and each place should be equally covered in all of our paint, right? That's how you do the setup for these guys. Now, we're gonna come in here, we're going through all the colors that we have. Titanium white, midnight black, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, madder carmine from the Meaden set, which we probably won't use. Dark sienna, Van Dyke brown, dark sienna brown, sap green, yellow ochre. Now, let's go into our ultramarine blue with the 2-inch brush that still has the liquid white on it. Doesn't even matter, man. Let's go dropping it on. I love me a good blue sky painting. Just a gorgeous old sky out there. It's gonna be a big old sky too, look at it. Just insanely humongo gigantus. So that's what we like to call it anyway. Down in here, let's drop that very fine amount of blue. So it's much less, much more fine, much more bright in its color, less bluey than when we very first put it on, because it's intermixing in with that liquid white. You could start from the bottom, you could start from the top. It doesn't very much matter. All we're doing is crisscrossing. We've gone more, there goes the mall stick. We've gone more than halfway down our canvas, right? Our little center beam is right there. That's where that beam is in the middle. So we've dropped about an inch or two below our beam, and all we're gonna do is mix up this beautiful blue sky. Just a nice, pretty old day. You wanna know why we're painting a blue sky today? Because it is stormy as heck in Eugene today, you guys. I'm talking about pouring rain most of the day. I've got a giant puddle outside my studio door that's trying to make its way in here, and I don't want that. So I figured we'd paint a gorgeous little blue sky, summery, beachy scene, little cattails out on the coast. So I hope you're ready for that. It's gonna be amazing. And the more that we mix this blue, the more and more and more it's all going to look the same. So you can get some of those streaks. If you blend those streaks away, they will disappear, but our sky might look all the same color, which we don't want to happen. As you can tell, we're leaving a nice bright white area that's mainly untouched of paint, so it's less paint over there. And sure, you can graze across it and brush across it, but the main goal being that this area has less paint on it than everywhere else. Now, we don't just want to have a plain old blue sky out there, Josh. Let's get a little bit of black onto our brush. Now, the Bob Ross Midnight Black is not a very dark color, right? It's not a very dark black. So as soon as you start putting it on our canvas, it'll start to go gray very quickly. You can change and adjust just by your pressure how light and how dark your sky gets, okay? I always love, if we're gonna have a big sky, let's do some big old clouds in here. Let's just go like this. Why not? Just whatever, right? Toss in a big old dark section right by that light section of our sky, and it's already looking like cloud skies already. You don't even have to do anything about it, man. Now remember, you can grab this painting if you go to paintwithjosh.com over there. You can get some really cool stuff. I'm telling you, this one, oh my goodness. I'm just realizing now, I did not make a listing for this painting. So therefore, it is not available. You can't have it until after the show is over. Unfortunately, that's me. It's London's birthday today, guys, by the way. So let's all wish her happy birthday. Happy birthday to London. I can't believe we didn't make this painting available in the store. That's fine. It's fine. It's whatever, right? So, we do have other ones available you can go check out. And I'm thinking, let's put a little bit more of our black. Just let's leave a bit of blue sky. Put a little touch of it down in here. We don't want to have too much. So, if it looks like it is too much, dab it off on your brush so you're not continuing to drop more paint, and we can go blend it out. And we'll have two different little layers of stuff back there. Very cool. Now, in order to make my oceany horizon, we're going to take our blue and our black together. We're going to go underneath our sky and just pop in a darker section of that bluish black paint in a nice and straight line like that. Gorgeous little straight line out there. You can make it as heavy and as dark as you want it to be just by adding more blue and more black as you go. Right? Don't just put black up there. Throw the blue there with it. And let it blend down very gently into that lighter blue region down here of our less heavily colored blue. Right there. Gorgeous. Now remember, we don't need a whole lot of space on a scene like this. And is that a level horizon? You guys tell me if my horizon is level, just yes or no. Let me know back there. Is it level? Is it not level? Right back there. Gorgeous. Right? Remember, we don't need it to be too dark. We don't need it to be too thick and too heavy. We just want it to be out there in the background, getting lighter and lighter and lighter as it comes towards us. That's it. So the more you mix it, the more all the same it will become. And you can see some far away little waves or a far away horizon in the background. You even mix it almost until it's almost impossible to see. Fabulous. Okay, now let's get up here with our titanium white onto our old brush. You guys check in. Just let me know where you're watching from out there in the night. Let me know where you're from. We're going to get a fair amount of paint onto the brush. Let's see if I can give out some shout outs from way back here. So we can hold the brush up so you guys know I'm still here. Let's see, Minnesota, Kansas, Colorado, Australia, New York, Pennsylvania, Italy. Excellent. California over on the tube. Good morning. We got Peru, Maine, Michigan, Chicago, London, New York, Ohio, Michigan again. Man, we got people all over the place. Thanks, Vicky. Appreciate you over there on the book. Now, let's take all this white paint. Let's go right up into and above that darkness. There, right? Just literally mushing, pushing, trying to get the white that's on my brush to come off of my brush over that darker colored area. Now, if I can dab off this brush nice and good, and we can come up here like this and start mixing it downward. Ever downward it shall go. Over mixing is going to be a bad thing right here, right? Because you're going to lose that dark and light color. We can decide again what shape, what amount of craziness. You want a little break? You want a bit of darkness in between? You want to pop in something else? It's up to us, guys, literally. The more we mix it up, the more it's all going to be the same. The more it'll all dissipate and go away and mix in with that sky. Really cool looking cloud out there already. Now, again, it's all about separation, right? How are we going to keep it separate? If we pop in a new little bit, we got to make sure that this white stays separated from the other white out there. If we came up underneath like that, right? Wherever we want to be. Is it one cloud? Is it two clouds? Whatever. Literally whatever. It's all about light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, all the way down. So we'll start to mix it up, being much lighter handed on the top with our pressure, much more pressure on the bottom to mix it down over that sky, right? And then we can decide when it is done mixing, how far it goes down, where it stops, right? It's all up to us, guys. I'm telling you, over here, just using the paint that's up on the canvas, light along the top, dark along the bottom. You can decide what it looks like, how light, how dark, every time that we go to do it. Guys, it's another chance to do it a little differently each time. Now that we've blended out these clouds, you can go across them without them streaking across your sky. I always wondered how Bob did that. Like, how is he doing that? Because we've mixed up this thick paint and we blended it out softly enough that when we go across it, there is less paint up there to drag, right? I had the same thought as you. Like, how does it drag across that way? And that paint just doesn't smear everywhere. Well, it's a very thick paint in its consistency, very much like cake icing or frosting, right? And that way, you can kind of float across the top of it without doing too much to it, right? What if we had to, just because, what if there's a little floater up here? Just a little flat little guy, whatever, honestly. Doesn't matter what it is. Just throw something up there, soften it down until you like it. Remember, this one up top should be softer, then a little bit brighter, and then the brightest, indicating its closeness to us, okay? Now, let's take our palette tool out here, and we're gonna have a good time, everybody. Everybody. Man, I gotta figure out what the last painting number was. I think it was 2114. So we're using oil colors in the wet on wet technique. You guys should already know. If you're watching over on the Tubies, just give me an old thumbs up. That's all we need from you over there. Just to hit that like button, and then you'd be amazed at how much it actually helps bring more people into the stream. Now remember, we want to keep these waves very far away. So we're gonna use our palette tool. We're gonna pull it down very flat like we're wiping it off, right? Wipe that thing off. Come in here, scoop up a little bit. So you got a little roll of paint on the end. Then we can come out here and decide. These waves are very straight. They're coming on to us very straight. Right? We don't have to go higher up or lower or whatever. We just want to start scraping in little things. And the more little bits of our titanium white that we can get to fall off of our blades. So if you need more, grab a little more, come down here, start scraping it in. And remember, it's going to want to mix in with that dark blue mixture of paint back there, okay? So the more that we scrape at it, the less little bits of white we're going to see, and the more that it's going to turn into this bluish grayish color, because we're just mixing white over that nice darkness back there, right? We get to choose, my friends, what it looks like every time. Maybe we come down here, we drop down a little bit, leave that little gap in between with a nice bright spot on the front. You might look like different spaces or different sections of water. You change the angle and come down here and flatten it off, right? Just leave those excess spaces. That's all we need, the extra stuff. Dude, do we have enough room to do a crashing wave back here? I think we do. Let's just launch over just with our palette tool, just kind of round little flicks like that. So you're kind of touching onto the canvas and dropping off some paint, almost pulling it straight down, but we're doing more on one side, less on the other side, just like so, okay? Now, we're gonna add a little bit of splash to the bottom of that guy, but let's leave about a ½ inch. We can come down here and we can start to decide what our little waves look like. How are they going to roll up into their own little mini crashing wave like this? You can almost go backwards with your blade, right? Depositing some paint, not trying to cover every space, right? Not everywhere has to be so stinking bright. And in a daytime wave like this, you don't really need a transparent eye of your wave, right? Just gotta have some stuff rolling up there and just not cover it all. That's the whole thing, right? The more that we cover up, the more craziness we're gonna have. Now, we don't necessarily need to go to the edge if you're going to do the cattails and stuff like that, right? Or little bushes and stuff. If you're not going to do the bushes, then absolutely go to the edge of the canvas. This is just pure titanium white, remember. We're not adding any liquid white, not yet anyway. You can bring it down as low as you want, as high up as you want, as many little spaces as you want to have, as many differences as you want to have. It's all up to you guys every time that you do it. I'm just showing you something cool out here, that's all. A couple little cool little things, right? So, this painting, unfortunately, because I was a little distracted earlier and I didn't put it in my store, is not available for you to get, right? But I do have other ones that you can go find if you go to paintwithjosh.com, way out there in the night. I have to say it like that so the bots don't pick us up. That's looking really cool, guys. Now, let's extend out a little bit more with this thick titanium white paint, right? So it looks like we've got some room to roll back and then launch forward. Yeah, guys, remember, check in, let me know where you're watching from. And we've got more than just this one available for you guys today, tonight. Thank you for the galaxy, Denise, I love it. I'm usually never on this side of the camera to see that. And the person that said the Joker, I get that all the time. You are not the only one to think that I sound like the Joker. I don't hear it, right? But apparently to everyone else, I sound like the Joker. I don't know. I don't know Batman. I don't even know how to imitate him, because apparently I sound already just like him, so I don't even have to do anything, right? Let's mix all this stuff up. Now let's get back to our little gap back here. We're gonna take our liquid white paint, which is very runny and very wet. It's the initial canvas base coat that we put onto our canvas so everything stays nice and wet. We're gonna take that liquid white into our titanium white. And remember, we don't have to have it be too big, so we can literally, in between this space, push in, Push in, push in, push in. Let it get a little bit bigger on this side, maybe over your horizon, just so it shows it crashing over there, and then it's getting a little bit smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Very light little taps, just so it's not all the same, literally. Now we're gonna get up there, and even with your big old 2-inch brush, and I'm talking about the softest you've ever touched anything with a brush, is how soft you have to touch that paint. Because if you touch it too rough or too hard, it will disappear and blend away and be gone forever. Now let's take a little bit more of our liquid white, and I'll show you what it looks like. This stuff right here, right over here, is our Bob Ross liquid white. It's very runny. This jar is nearly all the way empty, so you can almost see it in there. It's almost watery, right? You need that wet, wet, wet consistency in order for your thicker paints to become a little bit thinner with that mixture, right? Now, if you have maybe a brand new jar that's never been used, or perhaps a jar that's been sitting around for a long time, liquid white is made up by mixing titanium white and paint thinner, and so you have that possibility that they may separate in the jar over time. So really get in there and mix it up, and if anything, put a little bit of paint thinner in there to make the stuff that gets stuck at the bottom a little easier to handle. Now let's come out here with our liquid white. Like I was telling you, it's very runny, it's very drippy. As you can see, it's falling off the old palette tool. Get off there, there we go. Our titanium white would never drip in a million years. And so let's take our pile of liquid white. We're gonna consider this 90% of our whole pile, meaning we need to add about 10% of our titanium white to this liquid white in order to just bind it a little bit, just a little touch. It's kind of like adding flour or starch to something when you're cooking, just to thicken it up a little bit, right? We still want it to be runny like gravy. We just don't want it to be too watery, right? And that's exactly a good analogy, making it like gravy. We gotta add a little bit more mix in, thicken it up. All right, so now we'll scoop up this little mix. We're gonna drop out here. And actually, no, before we do that, because I wanna have a bit of brown underneath my watery area, and this is why we let this blue extend down so much. You could even let it go further if you wanted it to go further, all the while it's mixing in with that liquid white that's on the canvas, right? So if we come over here, grab a little touch of our Van Dyke brown, a little touch of our dark Sienna brown, the two brown colors, and not too much. So I want to be very light hand. Ooh, that's heavy. That is heavy in the color. So be very light handedly, very lightly dropping it off. And again, leaving a space in between them, right? So that these colors can mix together. If I were to drag this over here and this over here and it's already all brown before I've even blended it, it's gonna be too dark, okay? I'm telling you. I'm just telling you from experience, okay? So I'm gonna dab off my brush on a paper towel. We have not once cleaned the brush. Not yet, anyway. Just keep dabbing it off on paper towel, okay? So now there's less brown paint on the end. Give it the old paint with Josh flip, right? Or if you're a pro, you flip it like this, right into the pocket, bro. Right there, okay? Now, as we pull on this stuff and mix it, it's going to pick up some of this white paint, some of this light blue paint, and different things, and it's going to mix together and start to grow forward, right? Now, if we're noticing that we're pushing too much brown and we're losing all this light blue color, stop. Don't continue. Don't just keep making it worse, right? And we're really pulling these guys in at a horizontal angle, right? Very flat across. Very flat. You get that color as far up to your water as you want it to be. It's all up to you how close it gets to be up there. Right? And then you get that very wet, very shiny area, which is that blue area, where our water is literally this thick along the whole thing, that deep anyway, right? Then you can also, if you like, because out here at the coast, on the Oregon coast anyway, it's a little darker brown right where it gets all saturated at the end. So we can put a darker brown section right there. We're gonna come right up to that spot and just nail it with our water lines, okay? So this guy, again, we're blending, but we're just blending horizontally. If the lines won't go away, drag them up a little bit, drag them to the side a little bit, and that'll help them blend. Got our darker section out there in the front. Guys, it's gonna be fantastic. Okay. Take our liquid white, pull it down, scrape it up, right? So you got a good amount of it on there. And then you're gonna have to push hard, right? If you're pushing hard, you're going to deposit that little roll out the backside of our blade, okay? Doesn't have to come too far out. Doesn't have to be too bright or too thick or too whatever. Doesn't have to do anything. It doesn't even have to connect. It can literally be it could be a broken line. Anything is possible, you guys, quite honestly. And then remember, we're gonna fill in horizontally with these guys, right? So we can drop off a couple little bits, a few little pieces, a couple bubbles here and there, wherever. And you make yourself this cool little thing. Now with that liquid white, again, we're gonna come back into our wave, our liquid white and titanium white mix. That's what I wanna see. That big old ridge right on the front, just like our ridge down here. That indicates the front of the water is a little bigger, a little heavier. Look at that, you guys. Right? You don't even have to go all the way to the side, but isn't that amazing? Isn't that literally amazing how you can just make something come to life? Literally come to life. You like that? Thank you, I appreciate the spelling on that. The kion with the Y in there. You got to, man, otherwise they'll pick us up. There we go, that is a cool little scene. Now, let's decide, we're gonna mix up a whole bunch of darkness because we gotta project some distance into this guy. So let's make our Paint with Josh Grack mix. So our plaque plus the green, launch that sucker in there. Now if you're adding your dark green color inside of your dark shadowy mix, we wanna have it to where it's not green, right? I'm gonna be teaching a student here in a couple days that sent me a couple images, and you know, all their trees were just green. They just used green to make the trees. And that will give you a tree, but it's not gonna have a lot of depth to it. Same with your bushes, right? You wanna have a bit of that green color in there, but it remaining dark, okay? That way we can come up here with our big old bushy brush. Now don't unfollow me when we do this, okay? Because it's gonna look nasty initially, and then we'll go back and make it look real. We don't have 2.5 million followers for a reason. Let's angle the brush away from us like this. Point it away from you. Get into the top of the brush, so it's only on the top side, right? Then we'll come out here, and in order to project distance, oh boy, they gotta be big. Pop it down, pop it out, push it, mix it, cover stuff. You gotta cover stuff, right? You have to push it into the distance by covering it with all of this thick darkness. Nasty old stuff out there. Okay, now we're very lightly, just at the base, gonna grab a little bit of that stuff, pull it outwards. We don't need to get everything. We're gonna work at this downward angle too. So we're grabbing and then we're going down, 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 like we're taking steps, right? Any amount of darkness that you're gonna pull out is gonna try to change the color of your sand. So push it back. Use a lot of force all the way from the edge, push it backwards, and then you can have a little shadow underneath there without it growing too stinking far, right? If it grows too far, you're gonna be all pissed at me, and I'm not gonna be able to help you all that much. Okay, you can have this one be a darker shadow back here, just by adding more of that dark paint down into the sand. All things up to us. Yes, whatever we wanna do, we get to do. Push it, you can spread it, you can blend it, you can do all sorts of stuff, my friends. It's just that simple. Now, this little guy looks like he needs a little friend out here in the day. So what if we scrape off that bit of white paint and come back in with a whole chunky another mess of stuff. And we come up a little bit, and we'll go down, down, down. There we go. That's what I want to see. Fill it in. You can't let it go up like this. You got to at least fill it down so that by the time that you grab it, okay, you're able to start at a higher place, pulling out, working ourselves lower each step, lower, 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 lower. Do not continue to go back up that way. It never helps anybody. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. All right, down like that, over like that, pulling these little guys out, and all of a sudden, got yourself some cool little bushes out there, almost like we could just walk out, get onto these little guys out here. And now, even with this last bit of paint, what if we project another little spot down in here with our little sand in between them, again, adding more depth and distance and more details. Now, we're running out of paint, and I can tell because it's not as thick and dark as it is over here, right? You want to have that texture. So even though it is covering the canvas and it's making it darker, we don't have enough texture in there, guys. So let's go back, make our black, crimson, blue equal parts, right? A little bit of our green, throw that thing in there too. You want to have it in there. That's sap green from the Winsor & Newton set. We've got our yellow ochre from the Master's Touch. No, actually, sap green and yellow ochre are both Master's Touch paints. Danny gave me those from Happily Painted Studios up there. She gave me those, and then we've got the Bob Ross Dark Sienna and Van Dyke Brown, then the Madder Carmine and the Ultramarine from Meaden, and then Gamblin Alizarin Crimson, Bob Ross Black, Titanium White from Windsor and Newton. Man, we just got all 4 colors onto all 4 brands out there today. Now again, you gotta have an enormous amount of paint in order to have these things stay dark enough to look close, right? If they're not dark enough, they will not look like they're closer than anything else, right? The darkness is what brings it down, gets it close in here, and we can do whatever we want to do, right? All things are possible with that darkness. Fabulous. I'll forget a little bit more on this guy too. Why not? Literally. Right? Pop it down, work yourself, and walk yourself down through there. Get down to the beach, baby. I love it. I love it. Filling up the edges with that darkness. Excellent. Now, let's go wash out our brush, and I'll show you how to make those guys look real. Just make them look so real, but you got to check in and let me know where you're watching from out there. It's been 26 minutes, you guys. I'm not even rushing. I mean, I do have volleyball practice later tonight with the girls, but I'm not even rushing. And it only takes 26 minutes. Are you for real? You guys got 26 minutes. You can do this, I'm telling you. If I can do it, you guys can do it, okay? I am literally untrained. I taught myself during COVID, right? Nobody was teaching. Nobody was doing anything. Nobody could go anywhere, so I had to teach myself how to do it. And 6 years later, okay, paint with Josh on the scene, you guys. It's insane, literally. And you can do it too. I'm totally serial. Now, let's add one more little touch of detail in there. We're gonna take our Paint with Josh liner brush and our odorless mineral spirits, and we're gonna make something really cool. Now, we're gonna be dripping our odorless mineral spirits, or our paint thinner, our brush cleaner, onto our plaque mix, or grack mix, this is, making it very wet and runny like watercolor. And then you can just shoot up little things right out the top of that little guy. How big, how long do they come out? That's up to you. How many little bits are they gonna have, right? Also, up to you. How far they go, this, that, and the other. Everything is up to you guys. Serious. Super serial over here. All right, put a big old guy. Right there. Why not? Why not? Because it's up to us. We can do whatever we want to do. And if you don't try it, then you'll never know how it's gonna look, what can happen, what you can do, because you never tried, right? You were too busy just hanging out, trying to be like, oh look, let's just make it this big, and just go, oh, okay, that's good, because you didn't want to go too high. I'm telling you, push it through your horizon. It helps push stuff back. Now, let's grab a small little fan brush, that same very wet stuff on a very small little fan brush, with that same dark color too, don't matter. It don't matter. We're just gonna get it out on the end of the brush, not the whole thing, okay? Now let's imagine, the wind is blowing in from the coast. We're gonna touch right here, just right on the side, and go just like that. Little whipper on the top, okay? Now they can be large, they can be small. You can have a little bit on one, a bigger version on the other. Just blowing out there in the wind, in the night. Just make them all blow the same way. Just like that, right? And it's not a strong breeze. It's not blowing the whole stock of the thing. It's just enough to get the little wispy part on the top to go floating. Really cool. Now, let's go into our liquid white. Again, with just the top of the brush. And we're gonna go into that sap green color. Oh yeah, a little bit of our yellow ochre color as well. There we go. Just making them, kind of mixing them up together. So you get all that nastiness right out on the end, okay? Then we can come up here and start very lightly touching. Very light. We're not trying to cover every piece. Look at all those differences with the greens, the yellows. Everything is gorgeous. You guys, look at that. All without having to do anything. Green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow. All because of how we loaded them up on the brush. And you can see in the center of the brush, that's the paint that's not been touched, because I don't want to push on it so hard that I reach that center area. It's going to leave too big of a splotch, right? That's why we load it up out here on the tips of the bristles. The yellow, the green will come off of this little guy and start tapping in little things. Right? Leaving little spaces that are untouched, that are uncovered, A lot more texture on this front guy. But again, not even all the way down to the bottom, you guys. Look at it. It's fabulous. Just pure fantasticism out there in the day. Pop a little bit more green, right? But I don't want to touch it so much that we're over covering everything. Just like that. Season's starting to change out there, you guys. Seasons change, time passes by, and the weeks become the months, become the years. Anybody know that reference? Or is that just me? Is that just me that knows that reference? Very cool though. So you guys start coming up with a title. What do you want to call this painting? Let me know in the comments below right now. Tell us now. What do you feel like this one should be called? Title it for me. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're up to over there. So remember, we have tons of other paintings. I did this really cool nighttime seascape. I'm going to show it to you guys actually because it's so pretty. Oh! Now, this one is from last night's show. Came out absolutely stellarly fantastic. Quite honestly, one of the best ones we've ever done. It's beautiful. It's purpley, it's mauve, it's brown, it's blue. Oh, it's just fantastic. Look at it. So, since, again, I made a mistake, you guys know me. If you do not know me, this is what I do for a living, and I unfortunately forgot to list this one available for sale. It will be available directly after the show. You'll be able to get it. This one is over on the front page right now. So if you went to paintwithjosh.com over there, and I have to say it like that, otherwise we get picked up in the things that are listening, right? And go over there. That's the very first painting you're gonna be able to see. That's the one you're gonna want to get, right? This one, if you want to get it, you're gonna have to wait until after the show's over because I'm silly and forgot to put it up there today. And you know, again, everybody say happy birthday to London because it is her birthday today, and she'll always be a big part of my life. And it's always fun to get said happy birthday 1,000 times too. So everybody, load it up. Happy birthday, London. We love you out there in the night. Boom, boom, boom. That is so gorgeous. Look at how those bushes just pop right off. Seasons change, time passes by. Anybody know that reference? It's from a funny cartoon. So, this is the only show that we're going to be doing tonight, guys, by the way. We're also going to be adding our sand technique. So let's get a little touch of our plaque mix. Mix with our odorless mineral spirits. We don't want to have too much on the brush. Again, we're going to lighten up or kind of make our sand look a lot more realistic just by flicking in a couple little dark bits. Get smaller and smaller as they go away, heavier and heavier up here. Okay, these dark bits are vital to have. You don't want to just put white specks up there. You got to have the little dark speckles, okay? Now, if they get up into your watery area up here, that's okay. It's going to look like little pebbles, little rocks and stuff. And you can blend them away if you can. I wouldn't suggest it, though, going back and touching, because you could grab any part of this or that and streak it inside, and then you're ruined, right? So let's see. I'm going to ask you guys a question. After I speckle on this bunch of white paint, does this look like sandy beach? Yes or no? The more little white speckles that we throw on to our little sandy area, covering up some of those dark specks, covering up some of our brown color, does not that look like the most gorgeousest of sandy, just, oh, I just want to go out and walk on it. Look at it. Look at the speckles, you guys. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? It goes not as realistic as the real sea. Oh, you mean my painting isn't photo like perfect? I'm sorry. Oh, so terribly sorry to disappoint you that it's not as good as the real ocean. I appreciate your negativity though. It really makes my day better. I love it. So, you guys start hitting me with titles. What are we gonna come up with for a title for this one? I'm gonna clean up the old pound, and this is the only show that we're gonna be doing today because I gotta go teach coach my daughter's volleyball team. And then tomorrow I have a full day, 12-hour intensive class in the studio with 2 people. Therefore, we won't be streaming tomorrow night. So this is your only chance to see me until Sunday. You guys better grab one of the paintings that I have out there. And really, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to pay the bills this month for reals. Coastal breeze, I like that. Thank you, appreciate it. Man, it's so cool. Autumn breeze, I like that. Coasting through, squall on the horizon. That's a cool title. Crispy, wicked ocean. I like that. Stormy clouds, I dig it. 5 miles in the ocean, it looks like the beach. I appreciate you, Joseph. The path of peace. I like that, guys. Ocean breeze. How do you prep your canvases? You can find out that answer by watching the full-length tutorials over on my YouTube channel. And we've got tons of them. Now, final touch. Let's add in just a couple little sticks and twigs that are holding up or projecting through little parts, right? Got a couple little bits. You don't have to put them everywhere, but throw some of them in there. Just from the darkest parts of our little thing, popping up. Maybe they're holding in a couple bits. Maybe they project up and out of the water or out over here. It doesn't really matter. Just throw in a few little things that are out there, holding up all these little flowers, our little stems and such, and they all come out so great. So let's hit me with the titles, guys, one more time, and then we're going to pick a title, and then we're going to get out of here. And if you are interested in this one, keep refreshing paintwithjosh.com because it's going to have this painting on there by the time that we get finished, okay? I'm going to take the photo right now and get it all finished up. So you guys hit me with the titles. I'm just going to check the number that I need to put on the back of this one. You can do that like this. So it's 2115, guys. 2,115 paintings. That's insane. Literally insane. Happy little mountain back there. Wouldn't really make sense for the coast, having a mountain in the back, but very cool, guys. Very cool. Paradise seas and breezes. I like it. I like it. Puerto Rican beach. I dig that. Secret Haven. I like that. Oh, that's cool. And the person's name is Seashells. Let's see. Vitamin C. Let's call it that. I like that. That's really cool. Because we're going to spell it, right? Vitamin C, like the ocean. S-E-A. Came out really neat, you guys. Really fantastic. So before we flip it around and do the signing, we'll call it Vitamin C. Let's throw the old bird family out there in the day. Just flying in. Just out there. Look at that sharp, sharp, sharp Paint with Josh liner brush. It is fantastic. Let's throw the old, you know what, we're gonna have to go with white just so we can see the old signature down here. Remember, if you like this one, it'll be available. I should have put it in the store prior. Totally got distracted, didn't do that. So, yeah, we'll get it up there eventually. And then you'll be able to grab this one. So, Vitamin C, that came out literally perfection. Yeah! I love this one so much. So, thank you all for being here and watching it come to life. What did I say this one was? Number 2115. That's how many paintings we've painted, man. Vitamin C, like the ocean. Perfect title. Painted on 10/24, London's birthday. And we're all gonna go check out paintwithjosh.com. Right there. It's gorgeous. Yeah, it's fabulous. So, thank you all for being here and watching the show. If you went and got one of my other paintings, I very much appreciate you. I can't tell because I have all three of my devices streaming to all three different platforms, but I do love you. And I'm going to go get ready for volleyball practice, man. We will not be back later tonight. I'll be back Sunday, literally, because tomorrow I've got that 12-day intensive class. We're going to paint at least 6 to 8 paintings tomorrow. Woo! It's going to be a lot. So, yeah, no streaming tomorrow, and I do love you guys, though. So we'll say goodbye to the Facebook crew and the YouTube crew. I love you. I can't wait to see your versions of this painting. And until, please send them in to me on Facebook at Official Paint with Josh, right? At Official Paint with Josh. We got Paint with Josh K on TikTok, Paint with Josh K on Instagram, and then Paint with Josh over on YouTube. So until I see you guys again next time, remember to send them in. I can't wait to see it. Take care. I messed up a good day. That was very high pitched. And bye. See you guys. Oh, it came out so good. So stinking good, man. I like it. Too bad I didn't.